Are you content to be the age you are now, or do you want to be older than you are right now? Why?
No, I like the age I am now because you could still do things and like drive or whatever, and then you still have your fun, but then you have your responsibilities at the same time, and like that's what you need in life to like go on.
I like the age I'm at because I'm still learning, you know, like I still have a lot of lessons to learn in life, and that's good. Like I'm looking forward to it.
I'm content with the age I am.
I'm content.
What about you?
I'm in love with my age.
I want to say the age I am, considering there are a lot less responsibilities compared to a couple years up the road, so yeah, definitely.
I like to be younger actually myself, so.
I wish I was younger. I just want to be a kid again.
Now I'm happy with the age I am.
Older.
Why do you want to be older?
So I can drive.
I actually want to be older because being 16 isn't like that exciting. There's not much you can do, but I still like being young. Like if I could choose, I would rather be young forever than be old.
Sometimes, of course, I'd have to admit that I want to be older and, you know, I'd like to have my driver's license or whatever. But then there's times where I just got to think about it, and childhood only comes once in a lifetime.
I'm content. I'm living life. I'm having a good time, so.
I'm happy. I'm 18, you know, I'm living a normal 18-year-old life. I can't complain.
Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were being asked to grow up too fast?
Not really.
Yes, right now, because I'm graduating high school and I don't feel like I should be an adult right now.
I definitely believe I have, and moved out on my own, stuff like that, but yeah.
I don't think so. I think I just grew up quick on my own by myself.
Sometimes like with when I hang out with like older people, like they want to do different things that like I don't think I'm ready to do yet, and like I shouldn't be doing.
Like all the kids going to parties now and everything like that. Like there's so much pressure, you know.
Like my parents told me to get a real job and stuff. They said I can't live off of surfing the rest of my life.
Yeah, being in high school, it's like there's so many different choices you can make, like different things, and you want to be older, but can't really change that.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that because that helps you out later on in life. By growing up a little bit faster, it puts you a little bit at an advantage over other people your own age. So.
I'm content to be the age I am. So Catherine, how about you? Are you content at the age you are?
Yeah, I definitely am, but I do think about the future sometimes. Society today often forces teenagers to accept responsibilities beyond their maturity.
We can feel pressured to think and act like adults before we're ready.
How do you feel about this? Do you feel that you have too many responsibilities and maybe not enough time to just be a teenager?
Do you feel pressured by your peers to do things that involve adult decisions like drinking, drugs, smoking, and sexual activity?
Fast forwarding your life. Are teenagers growing up too fast? That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Jack.
And this is Realfaith TV.
Most of the teens we met on the street were happy with the age they are.
And there were many who said that they had been in situations where they felt the pressure to take on responsibilities that should be left to adults.
We'll talk with them again later in the show and also meet our studio guests.
But first, let's meet our spotlight guest, Maria, and find out if she has ever felt the pressure to grow up too fast.
I had just finished field hockey season, and I started hearing a lot about SATs, SAT classes, and on top of that, my coach was calling me about basketball. And I wasn't sure whether I wanted to commit myself to the team. I just felt so stressed out. I just didn't know what to do because I'm not the type of person that just takes the easy way out and will just not do something because I know it's going to be difficult. But I was just so overwhelmed. Like it must have been for like a week when I was just like, what do I do? Do I do it? Do I not? And I knew that if I didn't do it, I would just be so stress-free. I would just be able to go home, do nothing. I could do my SAT work. I could do some more schoolwork, and that's what my parents were encouraging too. But I prayed about it, and after talking to my coaches and my teammates, I realized that I really did want to be on the team. I wanted to be a part of it. And I'm actually really happy that I was on the team. There really aren't too many disadvantages, but I'd say that some days, just like everyone else, you just want to sometimes I just want to pretend like I'm not involved in anything and I'm just a regular teenager who just gets to do whatever they want and no one calls them up and wonders where they are, why are you late, why didn't you go to practice today, why weren't you at the meeting, why weren't you here, why weren't you there. Sometimes you do wish that you were just 5 years old again and don't have to do anything.
There's one time when I had to grow up too fast, I think, when I really became When I started my teenage years and my family dynamic changed a little bit, and I kind of felt like my dad disappeared from my life for a little bit, and my mom sort of focused on my sister. So things that my parents might have set up for me to do, I sort of started to do myself, and I made things happen on my own and took more responsibility for my own self and my own actions and things like that.
Well, I know with me, when I first went to high school and everything, I involved myself in every possible club I could and everything. So I was doing something after school every day, and it was kind of whenever my friends would call and they'd say, "Oh, you want to hang out today?" I'd be like, "I got something to do, sorry," you know. So that kind of made me grow up a little bit. I couldn't just hang out with people anymore. I kind of had to make choices and decide which was more important and everything. So let's meet our studio guests and find out what they think about this.
With us today we have Anthony, Katie, Elias, Lauren, Kristen, and Jessica.
So are you guys happy to be the age you are?
I feel pretty comfortable. I've felt pretty comfortable all my life. I mean, the age I am is chronologically the age I'm supposed to be, and just kind of fit together.
Works.
All right.
Feels right now because it's not like you have to act 5 and you're not acting 30. It's just right in between. It's just nice.
I hate the age I am now. I can't do anything. Yeah,
don't worry, it'll get better.
I kind of want to grow up a bit though, because my 2 best friends are going to college, so I feel kind of left out. I just want to grow up and do what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm always going to be happy with whatever age I am. I haven't really changed a bit since I was 4 years old. I laugh at the same jokes, I make the same jokes, and I think I'm just always going to be happy with whatever age I am, because although I'm changing, I see things in a different way, I'm pretty much going to be the same when I get older.
Yeah, I've had people tell me I look older, and I feel as though sometimes they treat me with more respect when they don't know my age, because I feel, that I'm being categorized because I'm younger. So, I wouldn't say I'm not happy, but, I guess being borderline, the age that you have respect.
Has there ever been a time where you felt you had to grow up too fast?
Well, my father passed away on 9/11, and I don't want to say that it really made me grow up faster, but it made me realize, and it made me see things differently, because I saw everything that happened in the news and the media, what was going on with the world and everything, even in my own community, anything that was happening, I'd see it in a more realistic way. People would say, people had, I know all my friends do this anyway, they have this idealistic kind of view of the world, but I really saw things in a realistic way, that it's really not that nice in this world.
Mine isn't as tragic as that, but at school, teachers, they're threatening me oh, well, you're gonna go to college in 2 years, you have to be able to write a simple paper, you can't do that, and they're trying to pressure you, threaten you with maturity. You're only a junior.
Right, I'm definitely feeling college pressure, because I'm filling out applications now for college, and I kind of realize that I'm growing up, and I'm gonna be leaving in a year and be on my own, so it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I'm going into my freshman year, and I felt college pressure because I've had teachers, you can only take 1 course in my high school, and so I've had teachers tell me oh, you'll be better off getting a scholarship in this area, and it was really scary because I'm not even in high school yet, so having that pressure 4 years later put on me, it was just ridiculous.
This past May, 3 of the kids in my class did drugs or whatever, and they opened it up to all the guys, and they're like, "Yeah, if you want to come over, a little bit." And I'm no, that's okay. So that's a point, and I think I really matured, and I showed it to myself.
I'm getting to the point in the college application process where my parents are starting to say things like, "Well, when you move out, your room is going to be used for an office," and stuff like that. And I'm like, "I have a year. Come on, I'm still home here." But it's growing up, so you got to go.
Yeah. Sometimes teenagers find themselves in circumstances that force them to grow up quickly.
Victims of abuse or assault have their innocence stolen from them.
They learn to be suspicious of people and have to deal with the adult world of police reports, court appearances, and the like.
Teenagers who become sexually active at an early age often have to deal with the consequences that come from this intimacy.
Problems like broken hearts, damaged self-esteem, and sexually transmitted diseases can scar a teen emotionally and physically.
Teenage pregnancy and the responsibility of being a teen parent mean leaving the carefree world of childhood behind.
Some teenagers are forced to deal with their own health problems that involve an extraordinary level of self-care and mature judgment.
And other teenagers whose parents die or divorce are required to grow up faster than their peers.
All of these circumstances generally mean that there's less time for just being a teenager.
The responsibilities that Maria has are typical for many teenagers.
Too many activities and not enough time just to enjoy being a teenager.
Let's go to her interview now.
I'm not a professional athlete, but I do 3 sports, and a lot of times my friends have talked to me about that and just been like, don't you feel like you ever just want to like cool it, take a break, go home after school and not have to worry about practice? And sometimes I could say that I don't feel like I'm being a normal teenager, but I learned so much from sports, and especially a professional athlete or anyone who's taking that much time and dedication into something. I mean, if you have it, if you have the ability to do it, then why limit yourself because of age, unless it's like health concerns. You learn so much from doing something like that, dedicating your life to something like that. So I don't think that they're missing out on anything. I think that being involved in so many different things, that does definitely have an advantage because you just feel more responsible before you feel like more of an adult. You feel like you can try to prove to society, I guess as a whole, that teenagers can do so much and they have the potential to do so much good for the world. There definitely are disadvantages to it too. In kids' adolescent years, they're not really mature enough to face the stress that maybe adults would be facing. They might feel so pressured into doing certain things that they don't even enjoy it anymore, that they feel like they have to do things that are, well, I have so much responsibility on me now, so then, come Friday night, I'm going to be completely irresponsible, I'm going to be a teenager, no parents are going to bother me, and I'm just going to get loose and, not have to worry about that pressure.
Can you relate to any of the things that Maria was talking about?
I know, I can definitely relate. When she said sports practices, I do 2 sports and, plus that. So definitely I've had friends, tell me, Gina, want to just come back and relax because it really could be stressful, so.
I used to do cross country in the fall, then I do it like later in the spring. But I mean, at the rate, like this year, we really started to pick it up because it was like our school got really good, so we really needed to pick up the practice. And compared to my other years, I wasn't like expecting, so much work. So for like the first 2 weeks of the season, it totally wore me out. And I would come home and I wouldn't want to touch anything. But then kind of when it cooled down, it made me realize, wow, it's cool to have like a regular life again,
I don't do the sports, but I'm in the spring musical every year at school. And you have that month or 2 months where you're like after school every day, singing and dancing and doing everything. And then when it's over, you get to go home and you're like, what do I have to do? I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I did the spring musical as well, and it was kind of like after that, I would just call up the people who were in the musical and we would just hang, because it was kind of like you're so used to seeing the same people, you don't want to just stop. Maria talked a little bit about whether she thought it was okay for teenagers to become professional athletes or entertainers.
She didn't see anything wrong with it if they have the talent.
Just like anything else, there are pros and cons to it.
Let's go back to the teens on the street and find out what advantages and disadvantages they see to growing up too fast.
And if they think that teenagers who become professional athletes or entertainers are missing out on a normal teen life.
Let's check it out.
Are there advantages of growing up fast?
I don't think so, no.
Advantages growing up fast? Driving. Getting a car and driving.
The only thing you do when you get older is you can get a better job and you're gonna get married and have kids. Everyone wants to do that, but you need to still live your life when you're a teenager. That's the most fun part.
What about disadvantages?
Responsibilities.
I agree.
Your teenagers only come once in a lifetime, and you'll never be able to redo those years again.
You get to miss out playing catch on your free time and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think so, because I think a lot of people see the kids on TV who are 15 and 16 and who have already made it in the business, and I think that they feel like they need to go do that, but I don't feel that pressure, but I'm sure a lot of kids our age do. I think people need to live their childhood, and I think they need to live their life and grow up on their own.
Do you think there are problems with missing a normal teen life to become a professional athlete or famous entertainer?
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I think there's part of a problem considering that it's such a hard responsibility to be in that position when you're young, not having a life kind of, I think.
Yes.
Like what?
Well, your teen years are supposed to be the most important and most memorable, so.
Right, you'll miss out on your friends and some great memories.
Yeah, because I think everybody needs a childhood and everybody needs to be themselves and figure out who they are before they make any life-altering decisions.
Not really. I don't think so. You know, if you like the sports or you like to sing, then you're really growing up to be that way.
Well, I think that if they grow up and they haven't had their childhood, they kind of go back into wanting their childhood when they're in the 20s and 30s. It ends up being like bad.
People like Freddie Adu started playing professional soccer when he was 14.
And 14-year-old Michelle Wee is pursuing a professional golf career.
Can you guys think of any other famous people who found professional success when they were teenagers?
Oh, one that comes to mind. I don't know if you guys know Leanne Rimes.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I guess she got a record deal when she was like 12 or 13. She released her first video when she was 14. But I think she was kind of pressured by her dad because her dad was going to be her manager and her guardian. So he would kind of like get double dough or whatever. And then once she finally realized it, she was like, what, 16 or 17? And she totally got in this huge fight with her dad. She fired him, which kind of sounds, you know, how many girls fire their dad. But then, you know, right before she got married, she still kept him out of her music business, but she still, you know, forgave him and allowed him back into her life.
Yeah, a lot of it is in the music business, like John Bon Jovi. When he was 16, he got to start in his career when he was 16. So like he would go like right from school and go to the recording studio. And you know, being a musician, I would love to do that, but then to realize like, wow, it takes up all your time, and you're not gonna be able to hang out with your friends. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's just only about the music, and it's like, you know, I love music, but it's like I gotta have some time to myself, you know.
Definitely. What do you think of this trend? Do you think that teenagers leaving school to pursue professional careers are maybe missing out on normal teen experiences?
I think leaving school is not necessarily the answer. There's always like an option B. I'm sure there's a way that they can still get in the high school years and not be denying everything that offers them, yet still be stepping up to the plate in the adult world. Like, it can be done. It's just a little more strenuous, and
Like
maybe
with
they
a
have to do
tutor or
night school, but they should do it, you know?
And I mean, like, just because it's not a normal experience doesn't mean it's not, like, a right experience. It's not going to be fun. Like, I mean, I'm sure playing a professional sport or something can be, like, fun and enjoyable, you know what I mean? Especially if you like to do it.
Yeah, but the high school experience is so important. I mean, would you leave out and miss out on your prom?
High school is like hard enough when you're not in the public eye. Like having normal friends and normal teachers, I can't even imagine being in the public eye in high school.
Our faith teaches us that there is a natural process of development to our lives.
It's not only a physical process, but emotional, psychological, and spiritual.
That's the way God made us.
Even the Lord Jesus grew in wisdom and grace throughout the time he was growing up in Nazareth with his parents.
Next, the teens on the street give us some advice on how they think that faith helps them cope with the pressures to grow up too fast.
Let's check it out.
Just have fun while you can, like, be young and, like, savor it, like, you know? Don't grow up too fast. You can just always think, like, don't go by the pressures. Like, you can be your own person. Like, you can have faith in yourself. Don't depend on anybody else.
Just talk to God and just ask him like a normal friend.
I could just say maybe just God will show you what you want to do.
I have no idea.
It's just something to look up to, keep looking forward to, some kind of support.
I think that if they follow what God does and they read the Bible and they like look into that and just, you know, like have their values, I think that they'll just grow up good and they'll have a good life.
Because, you know, you pray and then you ask him, what can you do to help me out here? And hopefully he helps you.
It is important to know who we are as children of God.
If we know that God loves us, regardless of how successful we are in the eyes of others,
then we will have an easier time resisting pressures to change.
in light of the truth about our dignity, we are able to see that just because everyone else is doing it doesn't make it right for us.
Next, Maria talks about how her relationship with God helps her to find peace when she feels the pressures and responsibilities that come along with growing up too fast.
Well, there's definitely been numerous times when I've just like broken down, just been like, oh my gosh, like how am I doing this? Like there's just so many, I felt like there's so much on my shoulders, like so much responsibility, things to do. And you just feel like you're like breaking down. You just want to go to sleep and don't wake up for like 2 weeks. When thinking about Jesus' life, I just think of him as like a hero. He's like the epitome of a hero. And I think that when you feel like you're breaking down, one important thing is to remember is when he's carrying the cross and how many times he's fallen. I think that having faith, it just really helps you balance everything. It helps you realize that your problems that you might think are so big at that time really are nothing compared to some things that other people are facing. Like even going to Mass, like there's been so many nights when I have not wanted to go because I've just been so overwhelmed with work, and yeah, maybe I procrastinated and saved it to Sunday night. But then I'll go to church, and when I leave, it just puts everything into perspective. You just feel like happier about what you're doing, and then like I'll actually enjoy studying for my test because I'll be like, okay, well, you know, I have to get a good grade, whatever. Like it's no longer as stressful. Yeah, I think that praying definitely does help me cope with the stress, again, that I was talking about. Even if it's not necessarily asking for something, sometimes just sitting and listening, which is also a form of prayer, helps me a lot. You know, sometimes I don't know what to say because I'm just so stressed out, but if you just take deep breaths and let God try to speak to you about your problems, it helps you. It's almost like encouraging. Like sometimes I feel that if I pray, it's almost just like I'm getting like a pat on the back, like you're doing the right thing, don't worry, like you're going in the right direction, just keep doing what you're doing, everything will be fine. Like that's what I get when I pray, when I'm stressed out. Yes, I experience peace.
So what are some of the ways that your faith helps you with growing up too fast?
Maybe does it help you to cope when sometimes it's really hard?
Yeah, I think that makes it a little bit more, you know, open perspective. Like for cross country or whatever, you know, even before a race, I would kind of like pray, you know, kind of say, give me the strength to at least finish this thing, you know what I mean? And, you know, I usually did it with flying colors, you know. And every time I ran a race was right after Mass. It was kind of like Maria said, like a little boost.
Definitely helps.
So like what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of doing something earlier than normal?
Advantages, you have like, you have like a head start on whatever you want to accomplish, but like a disadvantage is you're going to miss out on so much that you wouldn't have.
I think one of the disadvantages can be that you burn yourself out almost, like you do something before you're really ready to like fully pursue it and everything, and it's kind of like you use up all your potential early on and everything, and you get bored of it almost, and you just lose the creativity and the drive that you could have that would better serve you if you had start like at the normal time in life, like after college and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that God gives everyone a certain gift or whatever, and He gives everybody a potential to do something, you know, whether it be, you know, drama, acting, or sports or whatever, but everybody has a piece of God that's some kind of potential, and there's no reason that you should rush it, you know?
But, you know, sometimes it can be good because, you know, with Freddie Adu, I mean, he came over and his family was poor, and, you know, God, I guess, gave him the strength to cope with the challenges of becoming a professional athlete, because in doing so, he was really able to help his family. And, you know, I believe if you had the talent, like, you spend your life working towards your climax, I guess. So I think God gives you the ability to just go with it. And, you know, if you get the opportunity, it's God's gift to you.
Definitely. It is important to seek God's guidance when we are making decisions.
God knows us better than we know ourselves.
When and how we choose to grow up is an individual decision for most of us.
Making a choice to fast forward your life is a serious decision.
Find out as much as you can about the steps you are considering.
Take the issue to God in prayer, not once, but many times.
And for a significant amount of time.
Read the scripture and visit with your parish priest or youth minister to discuss the decision with them.
Sometimes God speaks through other people in our lives.
If you can, talk with your parents about how you're feeling.
Have you felt the pressure to grow up too fast?
We want to know.
Contact us through our website.
The address is www.realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
And one more thought before we go. Jesus told his disciples in Matthew chapter 7,
Ask, and it will be given to you.
seek and you will find.
Knock, and the door will be opened to you.
When we turn to God in prayer, we must trust that he will give us the wisdom and the strength we need to meet our responsibilities.
We must also believe that God makes all things work for those who love him.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on Real Faith TV. God bless.